Good morning. My name is Dijana. I'm here. Oh, hang on. I don't know what's going on here. So I'm here today to record Mentoring for Awakening episode 21, where I will talk or offer to you an overview of this I'm feeling like a newly emerging topic, and the topic is awakening in business. And it's about essentially how moving forward as we are transitioning into this age of Aquarius, we will begin not only to infuse and awaken our collective consciousness individually and in spiritual groups, if you will, but that awakening will very much begin to apply in business, in entrepreneurial ventures, and then by default begin to shift the way industry is delivered, or how industry develops and delivers business to people. This is a subject matter that has been coming through for me for, I would say slowly but consistently, probably for about the last 18 months to 2 years actually. So I wanted to offer a little bit of information that I have already for you to consider, for you to think about, because we are still very much in the I want to say the birthing stages of this. But in fact, that's not even correct. When it comes to business, we are not even in the birthing phase of this. We are still in gestation, very much so. Most people are still to even realize that we are transforming all of this and what that is going to look like. But let me offer you a couple of different ways to look at this, but perhaps, and plant some, seeds of potential by speaking about this. So this is essentially a practice in anchoring some of these potentials in the physical by using the divine feminine energy to intuit this potential and this creation, and then allowing it to come in and through my body consciously. And then by speaking it out loud, I give that potential a little bit more energy and more focus, and therefore allow the masculine energy to then come in and help bring these potentials in. So essentially, from an energetic perspective and from the perspective of divine design and divine potential, this is sort of how it works, yeah? So this is why the throat chakra is really important. It is that center of expression, the sort of what we send out into the world consciously. Okay, so bringing the fifth dimensional awareness into business. What does that look like and how? So because we are still learning, I guess I don't have some really solid practical examples of this. I don't actually intuit it around me or in the world very much at all just yet. But let's kind of have a little chat about this. So I wrote some notes down that I will be referring to so that I don't stray too far out with this idea. So the first thing that I wrote down was that fundamentally we will be changing the structure of the way business is administered. Oh my goodness, excuse me. We will be changing the structure of the way business is administered, the way business is applied, executed, intended, and delivered. But in order to do that, we must understand the nature of the fourth and fifth dimensional unity architecture better in order to see how this is different from what we are doing now. So let's explore what we do know right now. So currently in this 3D matrix, we basically have like a top-down structure. You could call it a pyramid structure, which is also like a triangle, but it's top down. It's where there's bosses on top, and then we all kind of work towards what's on top, that what's sort of commonly referred to as the elite, or the top a couple of percent in the world that own anything, everything, and make decisions for everybody. In this 3D matrix, business is conducted primarily on a pretty basic formula of win-lose, as in, even if it looks like win-win, someone or, the parties, because this paradigm is based on separation and polarity, invariably someone wins or wins a little bit more, and somebody will lose or win a little bit less. By default, the patriarchal masculine system of this 3D matrix is in competition, always competing. It doesn't matter what situation we look at in business, there is competition, and we are often actually conditioned to believe that competition in business is healthy. However, again, we then go back to this paradigm of separation and polarity, and a paradigm where someone will win and someone will lose, or someone will win a lot more and someone will win a lot less. Yeah? Get me? Know what I'm talking about? And because it's a competition, we are conditioned to believe that manipulation, so just think about sales and marketing, manipulation of collective consciousness is an acceptable practice. We literally have programs and templates embedded within our psyche and our body that say that when in business, it's not only okay to manipulate and to control in business, it is a must, because without successfully manipulating in some way the collective consciousness, business is not abundant and successful, popular. there's all sorts of evils disguised as business practices in this 3D paradigm. Oh my goodness. Just think about it. The real dark shadow side of humanity. Behavior that's really, in any other circumstance, not acceptable, except in the name of business, in the name of money. It's really interesting, when I was writing this down and I was channeling this information, I was getting this really strong parallel between, the evils and the murders that have been throughout history done in the name of God, have now been replaced with evils done in the name of research and business. I don't know whether you've ever thought about this, but I guess I will just make that offering and see how that resonates with you, whether it gives you something to think about, because these are all the kind of things that we need to transcend in order to fundamentally change the way business is done in the 3D paradigm. The other thing that I wanted to say is, I know many, including myself, light workers, spiritual coaches and mentors, people that are in the business of divine light, that have beautiful, successful businesses, that have put in place steps and ways of doing business that are with more integrity, of course, and more transparency. However, my experience with this is, in terms of co-creation and collaboration, is like true collaboration I'm talking about. I'm not talking about, anyway. My experience with this is that even our businesses that are very much anchored in this new intention are still simply a higher frequency version of the 3D matrix. We don't know yet how to transcend into, like, our businesses into a 4 or 5D paradigm. We are still very much practicing or trying to set up holistic, spiritual, coaching businesses, light worker businesses, but within the confines of the 3D paradigm. And my experience again is that this it may be financially abundant, but it's not transcending anything or anybody, because it's still very much within the 3D confines of win or lose, separation, my business, your business. Someone's got to win, someone's got to lose, or someone's got to win a little bit more and someone's got to lose a little bit more. I haven't yet had the experience or seen anybody be able to successfully navigate a 5D interaction between businesses. Yeah. So I'm hoping that as we shift consciousness, collective consciousness, that this will also begin to shift. Now, if the 3D matrix, business matrix, and or business within the 3D matrix is this top-down, in separation, win, lose, control, manipulate kind of situation, then what are some of the characteristics of a higher frequency setup business? So, of course, I have some notes on this as well. Basically, the structure of, for what I've experienced and have been shown, is that the structure of a 5D business is more like a tetrahedron. So if you Google a tetrahedron, when I get off, I might actually Google it and add a link in the comments so that you can have a look. A tetrahedron is basically a series, so it's sacred geometry. It's a series of triangles, right? But many smaller triangles. So rather than a top-down structure of the 3D matrix, a tetrahedron is made up, so one unit or one collective is made up of many little triangles. And the little triangles in this instance represent the Trinity. So two people that make up the third energy, which is the collaboration. That's the key, right? The collaborative effort between two energies or two parties. And when there's many collaborative efforts between all different parties, that's what makes up the whole, right? And so what happens is that we move away from this consciousness of separation, the win or lose, because all of a sudden, when we are consciously creating a trinity and we are consciously collaborating, right, with a task or a conversation or as a team in some way, you're creating something or exchanging services or whatever the situation is, all of a sudden, that in order for the whole tetrahedron to work, everybody within their individual trinities and then the whole is working for the best possible outcome of their collaboration, and then for the best and highest possible outcome for the whole. So this is the fundamental difference between the two ways of doing business, right? And this is how quantum architecture, divine architecture, whatever you want to call it, even nature by default operates, right? And so instead of us creating something new, all we are really doing is shifting our perspective that is more in line in the way nature works already. So what I wrote down then is I wrote down to discuss with you the example of a bee colony, for example. When a bee works, a bee, if bees had, say two separate, a 3D sense of self and then a 5D sense of self. Obviously, the 5D sense of self would be what we know to be true now, right? They work in a colony, they know what they need to do, they collaborate with flowers, with trees, with, they talk to each other, their wings flap, and, they send out ripple effects in the world, they pollinize, they, transport, they communicate, and it is for the highest, right? And best outcome of the whole. Fundamentally, the bee colony is like the tetrahedron. And of course, if you have a look at the shape, what is it, the hexagon or whatever the shape is of the, bee cone. I had a moment of brain lapse for a minute. The bee cone, obviously, if you break the shape down, it is what I'm speaking to you about, the Trinity, the collaborative effort of one, two, and many to arrive at the highest good of all. I think by default, innately, the human or our race knows that this is what we are trying to do, but we've lost our way, setting up this a system that is just so manipulative, and it's just wrong, It's been a fabulous journey of evolution, I guess, and we've needed to arrive at this point of industrial evolution. However, we are now at a point where we are understanding that this is self-destructive, or most of us are beginning to understand that this is self-destructive and it needs to change. So our trajectory is moving us away from this world view of separation and much more into this world view of unity consciousness. And when we are consciously applying what we know into business, this is what I'm being shown that this looks like. So, but let me go back to the bee then. So if we are viewing a bee colony as the already existent, in line with nature and the universe, expression of harmony and balance, then, a 3D bee would be something like, okay, I know my job and I'm going to go and do the minimum that I absolutely have to contribute to the collective. And then when no one's looking, I'm going to take a little bit of this pollen and a little bit of this honeycomb and shove it into a nookie in a house roof somewhere two blocks down the road and just save myself a little bit over there where nobody knows, so that I have something for myself, because, what if and who says that I have to do what everybody else does? Blah, 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 which would sort of be the mentality of that 3D consciousness. Yeah. So this is what I wanted to really bring to you today, to share with you what I have channeled, what I have seen, what I've been shown and guided in terms of those fundamental changes and perspectives between the old and what is collapsing, and then what is emerging and the new. I hope this helps bring some clarity to you. If it resonates, please feel free to share it, to explore this conversation, start a conversation along these lines with you know, with your peers. It doesn't have to be in the language of of quantum science or spirituality in any way. It can just be defined in terms of a collaborative effort and understanding how to fundamentally shift the conscious awareness of what's happening. Sorry, pardon me. And I'm sure that there will be so much more that we will discover as we move forward with this. Okay, many blessings to you, my darlings. Mwah. Thank you so much for being here. Bye.